No, I'm not here to give anybody any profound advice about their life, but if you're going to have regrets, the only thing that you should regret are the things that you never did. Hello, welcome back to the circuit. My name is Mark and this is SlotTrackRacer. Okay, so what we're banging on about today, because we seem to be talking about regrets, but it's mainly this track. So I don't know whether you followed me right from the beginning. I don't suggest you go back and watch the early episodes because they're truly awful. But the origins of this circuit were a temporary solution that I could take down and put up and use in the house, because previously I was a rug racer. When we bought our new house, I sort of negotiated some real estate where I could have a permanent Scalextric track, and hence this is what I built. But the idea was I was going to carry it up and down into the living room. Our living room's on the first floor, so as you can imagine, something this size was a real pain in the arse, and it just didn't work out. So then, by a happy accident, I found out that what I built actually fitted exactly into my garage, and here it is. So it's a bit uncomfortable here, so I'm going to come around the other side of the table and we'll have a proper chat. The table that I built myself, I made using 4 pieces of hardboard that were 4 foot long by 3 foot wide. And the way I got it set out was the table's 4 foot wide that way, and then I got 3 pieces along there, so that gives me a nice long 9 foot stretch. And then I've got this little extension on the end here, which is basically another 4 foot by 3 foot. So from here over to that corner is 8 feet, and the track here is 3 feet wide. But it's not perfect, so I designed it using some software called Scalextric Track Designer. You might not be able to get that software working for yourself, so in this video what I might try and do is cover how I've got it working on my computer. The other things I want to cover in this video is my regrets about the circuit, because I made a few mistakes really in what my sort of objective was. So this video is all about how I'm going to look at my track again, reassess it and see if I can design it better using the same table layout. So it's going to be an evolving video. I haven't actually planned out in my mind what it's going to look like yet, but I do believe that there's going to be an awful lot coming up, so I think the best thing we can do is actually get on and start it. So when I started the channel, the idea was it was all going to be about how I built up this circuit, how I created all the scenery and landscaped it properly so it all looked really realistic, like a proper racing circuit. But of course what happened was actually I got more interested in racing the cars, and I started doing some car reviews, and you've come along with me on the journey and you've watched, and I think you've enjoyed it. But really I ought to get back to the core principle and get to work on my track. But before I start any more foam board building, before I break out the Lee Slot Cars act of building buildings out of foam board, I think I really ought to sort out some design issues that I've got with the track. So I'm going to show you what I envisaged in my mind when I very first set it up, and then I'm going to talk to you about some changes that I'm going to make. In the early videos I made, I said that this circuit was going to be a tribute to a real life circuit, sadly one that is not used anymore, and that's still true. It's still my intention to do a tribute to a circuit that's actually really interested in motor racing history in the UK, and I still haven't really told you exactly what circuit it is yet, and I'm not going to do that yet. A couple of people have guessed it correctly, but I'm not going to say what it is. The idea was I'll have it all mapped out, and then we could do a whole series of videos about how this circuit came into existence and what the history of it was, but we're not there yet. But let's look at my circuit. So the idea was this was my starting straight, if I can get my words out, and I was going to call this section as track. I'll give you the names and you might sort of clock onto where I'm talking about. This was going to be Bromsgrove Street. Got me a piece of paper there with my names on. I was going to call that turn there Honda Turn. Back along the edge there was going to be Sherlock Street, yeah. Red X Corner. This back piece here was going to be Belgrave Middleway. I was going to come round a corner I was going to call Labatt's Corner, down this long stretch called Bristol Street, into Halford's Corner. Round Halford's Corner I was then going to come into the Persia Road, come down Persia Road, and that corner there was going to be Ferodo Corner. Come down here under this underpass, which I was going to call Peter Barwell Hill. Round this section here, which also was called Sherlock Street. I don't know how I seem to name a piece of track twice there, but I did. That was going to be Sherlock Street. That was going to be Mass House Turn, and then it was going to come round through Cavendish Corner and back into Bromsgrove Street. So that was the idea of the circuit. Now somebody out there must think, God, Mark, all those names are familiar. I know exactly what you're trying to do. I need to get over those that fit me. Some people should be able to say, I know all of those names, I know exactly where they are, and I know exactly what you're trying to do, Mark, but I haven't actually made it apparent yet on my circuit. And because I've done so little modelling, so little making buildings, it's all a bit anonymous. So all those names that I just read out to you, I can't actually remember what they are. Halford's Corner is quite nice, and Bristol Street Motors is quite nice, but the rest of it is all a bit anonymous. But let me talk to you about the mistakes that I think I've made. So when I designed my track, I've told you how big the space is, basically 9 foot by 4 foot with an 8 foot extension. I used this piece of software called Scalextric Track Designer, and I'll put a screenshot up now so you can see how I designed a circuit. What I went for was absolutely maximum amount of track. So every spare inch where I could fit in a piece of track, I put a piece of track in, and the circuit's actually quite nice. It's quite challenging to drive on. There's an R1 corner, there's some R3 corners, so fast corners, slow corners, some tricky S-bends. I actually quite like racing on it, but the biggest mistake that I made was putting the track right up against the edges, so that doesn't allow me any wiggle room at all to put buildings against the edge of the circuit, or any runoffs or borders or fences. So you see I've got some of my Scalextric fences up, but some of them I had to actually butcher and saw in half with the panel saw to make them fit. And I said at the time when I did it, I don't like destroying things, I don't like cutting things. So although I've cut some to make them fit, I'm not really happy with them. But of course, without them there, without a border, if you've got a fast car, you can get a free ride up against the wall. You can go so fast that the back of the car hits the wall and it doesn't come off the track. So that's that. Too much track, too near the edge. But the other thing, the big thing that I really dislike about this circuit is the pits. So I'm picking up the camera. So my pits are over there. So the real circuit that I'm modelling also didn't have room for the pits. So they used an old car park, well it was a working car park, to prepare the cars and get them race ready. And then the forecourt of Bristol Street Motors they used as the pits. So that's why it's set up over there for me. But it doesn't make sense because my starting straight is actually, move that out of the way, is actually here. So on a real race circuit, and on all the race circuits I've seen on various YouTube channels, you want your pits to be by your start straight. It doesn't make sense for your pits to be all the way over there. But the pit sections in Scalextric take 3.5 straights to fit in, and I hadn't got enough space along this section to get 3.5 straights in. So no matter how I kept redesigning it and looking at it, there just wasn't enough room to get in a starting straight long enough to get a pit lane in that was basically 3.5 full sections of track. Couldn't do it. But just recently I've been racking my brains of a way that I could actually solve that, and I think I've come up with a plan. So let me tell you what the plan is. So my cars come round Halford's Corner, through this little S-bend here, under the underpass, and then they reappear here and come round this middle section into the start straight. What I've decided to do, I want to keep the layout basically the same shape because I like this bit in the middle and it's quite challenging, but what I've decided to do is reverse the direction of it. So I think that this straight here, if you can see my hand, I think I could sweep it round and bring it into this straight. Then we will go down the middle section in the opposite direction, go up the hill into the underpass, come back down, and then from there, where are we there? We've got to get back into this section. So can you see that? So basically I'm going to break the track here. This part of it I'm going to bring into here, and this part of it I'm going to bring into here. And I've been on my Scalextric Track Designer Software, and I'll show you just how I'm going to do that. So let's do that next. So a couple of times now in this video I've mentioned a piece of software called Scalextric Track Designer. This is a product that I've used for many years actually. It was an official Scalextric product. For some reason they discontinued use of it. I'm not saying it's the most perfect solution, and I'm not telling you that there are not other solutions available that you could choose instead, but this is the one I choose. It is an old product, it is a little bit buggy, it behaves a little bit oddly at times, but I recommend it, I use it all the time. It's not officially supplied by Scalextric anymore, so you have to hunt around the internet a little bit before you can actually find a download. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is fire up my screen capture software, and I'll show you how I get hold of it. So there we are. So my laptop is a Windows 10 machine, and I'm using Microsoft Edge as my browser. Now I did a search for Scalextric Track Designer, and I found quite a few different places where you can download it. The one I used this time was one called SlotTrackPro.com. I will put a link for this at the bottom of the screen, and I'll also include it in the description so you can click on it yourself. If you look along these tabs, there's actually quite a lot of information on this side, but the one we want is track design. And I will mention that sites like this, so unofficial download sites, they make their money by selling other products or encouraging you to click on other products. So there's a lot of clickbait going on, there's a lot of adware. I'm not going to say spyware because that's a bad thing, but there's things that you don't really want to click on. Excuse me, there's things that you don't want to click on your laptop, so just be careful. So this one, for instance, I'm just going to close that. So here we are, a section all about slot car track design, and you can see down here there's lots of different solutions. Just a case in point, can you see this thing that says start download? Don't click on that, because we don't want to download whatever that is, a 6432-bit driver download. Rubbish. Don't click on it here, don't click on this. So be careful what you're clicking on. I happen to know that the software I want is actually in amongst the older posts, so I've clicked on that, and if we look down here we will find the Scalextric Track Designer. Can you see that as I'm scrolling past that there's lots of different manufacturers that offer different solutions, but as I say, this is the one I use. So I'm going to read more about Scalextric Track Designer. I don't want a PDF viewer. How many PDF viewers does one man need in his life? So I'm going to click close on that, and here we go. So this is the page that we want. Now you don't download it by clicking on that button, you don't download it by clicking on that button. You have to be careful where you're clicking. You don't download it by clicking on that button. So the one that you actually want, and there's no sensible way of telling you how to do this, you just have to be really careful when you're browsing on this type of site. But here's the software we want. Scalextric Track Designer version 1.1.2. that was the last supported version by Scalextric. So I'm going to click on the download button, and this will now come down. It's popped up in the corner there. It'll take a little while, so it's put it in my downloads folder. I'm just going to move it from there. So here it is. I'm going to click on that and do a cut, and I've got a little folder here where I keep my Scalextric stuff. So I'm just going to create a new folder and call it Scalextric Track Designer. Is that spelled correctly? Yes, it is. Open that up. It goes open, and I'm just going to paste the software into there. Okay, so to install it, it's simply a matter of clicking on this executable file. As I say, I've used this software before, so as long as you've got this one, same one that I've downloaded, it's perfectly safe, so I'm clicking on that. You might not be able to see this error message on screen because the way Windows works, it doesn't capture all these sort of system messages, but this is saying do I want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? And the answer to that is yes. If I can grab a screenshot of a similar window, I'll put it on screen. So you should be back with me now. Welcome to the Scalextric Track Designer Setup Wizard. So this type of installation is just a next. Probably click on one license screen. So let's do that. Next. Accept the agreement. Next, and there it goes. The folder already exists. It's telling me that because I have actually had it installed on my laptop before, so I do know that it works. So it's just saying this folder already exists. Would you like to install to that folder anyway? I'm going to say yes. There you are. That tells me where it's going to create a start menu shortcut for me, so I'm going to put that there. Now, to install this product, it's quite an old product and it relied on another Microsoft piece of software called DirectX. DirectX was like a graphics program. It was published by Microsoft, so again it's safe. I've already got it on my laptop, but I am going to say install the latest, and it will try and install it and realise I've already got it. So clicking on next, and we can now finally install. So this is the software coming down, and now it's asking me about DirectX, so I'm going to say yes, install it. So I accept the license agreement, click on next, and it will try to install it, but it should realise that I've already got it on my laptop. So it will take a little while to time out. I'm filming this in real time. It's actually the second time I've done it because the first time didn't work very well. The screen capture didn't come out, so you've got me twice here. So I'm just going to let it run. I'm not going to edit it, just let it go in real time. So it might take a little time to watch. There you go. It's determined that I've already got a newer or equivalent version, so I don't need to do that. And there we are. It's installed. I can now say next, and we are finished. So as soon as you click on the finish button, it will open up your browser, so Microsoft Edge in my case, and it will put this PDF document on screen for you. Now this is actually quite a handy document because if I scroll down it, it's all the instructions how to work the software, and there's some nice screen grabs there of how it works. I do occasionally come back to this document myself if I forget how to do certain features. So it's a good document to keep and refer back to every now and then, or for the first time basically just read through it. But I'm going to close it down, and there we are. And you can see that the software has already launched itself in the background. Now can you see this message? So back in the day when this product was a live product by Scalextric, whenever it launched, it always went off to an update site to see if there was a better version available. And of course, because it's no longer supported anymore, that download site doesn't exist. So every time you launch this piece of software, it won't launch immediately. It'll seem to be doing nothing for about 30 to 45 seconds. What it's actually doing is trying to contact its update site. So after a little while of inactivity, you'll see this message and it says unable to connect to the internet to check for updates. There might be a newer version of Track Designer available. There isn't, so we just click on no to that. Right, and there we are. The software is actually running, and it always lays one piece of track, which is the 4 car power base, so the very first digital power base that Scalextric installed. What I'm actually going to do is close the software for now, and then we'll do the proper demonstration. So the first thing that I want is a nice shortcut to the software on my desktop. So I'm going to go into where it's been installed, which was on my C drive. It put it in Program Files x86, and there's the Scalextric Track Designer. So the executable is called, if I can find it, there by the way is that PDF with all the instructions about how to run the software. So that's the one that launched when we installed the product. So I'm looking for application, where is it? Bear with me, I'm doing it in real time, I'm not going to edit it, I refuse to do it. There we are, trackdesigner.exe. So I'm going to right hand click and create a shortcut. It'll say, you can't create a shortcut here, do you want it to place it on the desktop instead? I'm going to say yes. Right, there we go. Now, I'm using Windows 10. When this program was written, it was probably in the days of probably Windows XP. So if you're having problems running it on your computer, I'll show you a little trick to make it run in what's called compatibility mode. So you click on a shortcut, do properties, go into compatibility, which is just there, and say run this program in compatibility mode for Windows XP Service Pack 2. So that means that it won't try and run it in native Windows 10, it will try and run it in like an emulation mode of Windows XP, and that will get rid of a lot of the bugs that you might find with running an old piece of software on a new computer. It works with other things as well, not just Scalextric Track Designer. So there we go, we can now launch the product and we can actually get on and use it, which is what you're more excited about seeing. So if you can't see this message on the screen capture, it's saying that do I want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device again, and this time it's Scalextric Track Designer.exe, so I'm just going to say yes to that, and hopefully you should be back with me. So the product launches, it always takes over the entire desktop. It will now sit here, do nothing, but I'm not panicking because I've already told you that it's trying to contact its update site. So don't think, oh my god, this isn't working. Just sit here, give it a few seconds, maybe 20, 30, 45, who knows, and it will come back and it will say, come on, come on, come on. It will say, unable to contact, connect to the internet to check for updates. So I'm clicking on OK. There we are. And there we are, one piece of track laid, and it's the digital 4-car power base. There you are. So how do you use this software? So you've got tabs along here, you can see the old Scalextric Classic track with the funny little ear-shaped connectors. You've got the Scalextric Sports track, which is the modern stuff that we're all using these days. And you've also got Sports Digital, which is the special pieces of track. So basically what you can learn how to use this by reading that guide that I show you, but I'm going to show you how to make a really quick oval of track. So I want R2 corner, so there's the R2 corner, I click on that and it lays it. Click it again and it lays another one, click it again and it lays another one, I click it again and it lays another one. So to make the oval equal, I've got half a straight there, so I'm going to put half a straight there. There we are. Now I'm going to lay another corner. This time I'm going to press the space bar, so you probably can't see that, but I'm pressing space bar. Can you see how it altered the direction of that corner? So when I lay the next corner, it's laid it in the same orientation, but if I press the space bar again, it returns it back to the direction I was going, which is clockwise. I'm now going to put in a single straight. I'm now going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to finish this oval by laying one straight. Then I need a corner going in that direction, so I'm going to press the space button to turn it round. And then another corner, so I'm pressing R2, pressing the space bar, and there we are. See how we've got an oval of track. There you are. So I think, was it, there used to be a rally set, was it the Mighty Metros that used to publish this circuit? I remember looking in the K's catalogue and the Littlewoods catalogue at the Scalextric sets, and it always used to be this track. I will tell you, me and my brother, we had a great big figure 8 thing. It was a full length of the living room. I think it was 7 straights from the top corner right the way down to the end. So this one always seemed, oh god, this is tiny. But there you go. I want to show you something else. So if we click here and do a R3 corner, can you see how it's sort of hidden underneath there? If I use the up and down arrows, so the up arrow in this case, so it's moved it to the edge of that track. What I can do now is create a a 4-lane track. Do you remember when you was a kid and you could race 2 cars and you thought, oh, I wish I could race more cars, and then you'd looked in the Scalextric catalogue and you can have a 4-lane circuit. Well, this is how you do it in Scalextric Track Designer. So again, I'm just going to finish this off. These aren't 45-degree turns, are they? They're 22.5-degree turns, so you have to put 2 down for each corner. So it used to cost a fortune if you did it for real. A half turn. So another little thing, but I need to change the direction, so I'm going to press the space bar. Oh, sorry, call me a liar. I need to lay an R1 turn, don't I? So to get rid of that turn, I just, it was already highlighted. The one in dark green is the one that's highlighted. I just press the delete button on the keyboard. So I'm going to do an R1 turn. There you are, it's already in the right direction. Then an R3 turn, but I want to change the direction by pressing the space bar. Another one, a straight, some R3 turns, yep, within the right direction. Another straight, and let's join it up. So we need an R1, but we're going in the wrong direction, so we press space bar to turn it. 2 R3s, but we're going in the wrong direction, so we press space bar to turn it. And then this is actually in the way, but if I put the half piece of track in, it would just overwrite it. There you are. So look at that, I've now got a 4-lane circuit. Isn't that exciting? But anyway, that is how you install Scalextric Track Designer. I showed you the site where to get it from, how to install it. You have to install DirectX, and I've showed you a little bit about how to use it. It's really good fun. It does do quirky things. Sometimes you try and lay a piece of track and it will make it appear over here. I don't know why it does that. It's buggy. It never got developed further than this version, which was version 1.1.2. But anyway, I use it all the time and I think it's really good. I'll tell you about the little squares. So the grid, these are supposed to be 1 foot by 1 foot squares. So I told you that my circuit was 8 foot by 9 foot basically. So I can set a custom grid size and I can say make it 8 rows and 9 columns. Click on OK. So that basically, if we count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, so there we go, 8 by 9 grid. If I click on Control and A, it highlights a whole circuit. If I keep the Control button held down, I can move a whole circuit in one keystroke. So there we are. So if I just click on a piece of track. So unsurprisingly, this circuit would fit on my tables that I built. I can, by using the mouse, sort of change the orientation. If it's a little bit too big, if I click 2 mouse buttons together and drag down, it makes it smaller, so you can see the whole lot on screen there. And we can still sort of flip it around. You can do things like switch on the where is it? Hills and the mountains. Show Rocky Mountains. Can I turn them off? Show Green Hills. There you go. Sorry. Neighbour Sky. That's better. So I've completely turned off all the background now. So that's quite a nice clean look, isn't it? Show Rocky Mountains. How do I make? Is this not working? Oh, there we are. See, it's changed colour. So it's a bit quirky the way it works, so I have to sort of go around the leaking to enable this effect, but there you go. See if I can get it back in one. Yeah, that's the sort of view that I'm used to looking at. So you are. So anyway, that's how to use it. I want to show you the two circuits. So this is my old circuit. If I go here, File, Open, because I've used this before, the last circuits I've built are already on my system. It's because I've reinstalled it basically. So this is the circuit that you've all been used to seeing when you watch my episodes of SlotTrackRacer on YouTube. So it'll take a little while to open because the internet connection's in the house and I'm sitting in the garage. I have got a repeater, but it's a little bit slow. But anyway, this software will open in a moment. It should ask me if I want to save this. Will it do that? I'm not going to edit it. You're going to have to sit and wait for it all to happen with me. So get used to the speed of things. Is that working? Is that working? It's pulsing, isn't it? Let's do it again. There we go, opening layout. There you are. So this is a circuit that you see when you watch my editions of SlotTrackRacer. If I do 2 mouse buttons and drag down it and make it a bit smaller. So this is my basic layout. What I want to do is change that, and I've mentioned we want to join this corner into this straight and then bring this straight into this start finish line and basically reverse a section of this middle section. And I've already prepared one. I think it's number 4. I may open the wrong one, but bear with me. Open. Come on. Open. There we are. So I think it's number 4. Can you see how it takes a little bit long to respond, and it's a little bit sort of clunky and buggy, but it does, trust me, it basically works and it's good fun to use. So this is my new layout. So at the moment I'm in something called 2D, so 2-dimension view. You can actually see that I've done the grid on this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will fit on my table. These are supposed to be 1 foot square. They're not exact measurements, but it's okay. If I take it off 2D mode, there we are, take it off. There we are, that's better. That's more that we're used to seeing, isn't it? So this is what the new track will look like when I start to build it. What I've got to do is figure out how to do the elevation there as it comes over. I don't actually like tracks with flyovers in. I don't think they're realistic, although when you look at the Japanese Grand Prix circuit, that does actually have a flyover in it, so that sort of tempered my anxiety a little bit. But normally I don't like tracks with flyovers in, but there you go. This is what I'm going to build. So what I'm going to do next is actually lay some track. So I hope you've enjoyed that little section. It might have taken a little while to produce, but that's all about Scalextric Track Designer. Now, let's go and build some track. And so basically, there we are, it's all down, and I can now experiment with putting up a new style track. I don't think I should do much more with this video. I think I should just edit it together and then I'll get it out on the Sunday, which hopefully is now when you're watching, and that means I'll be able to, you know, get another video out there within 7 days. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut the video here. I'm going to go away and sort of do a bit more in-depth thinking of how I'm going to get this track elevated and what more I need to do. So there you are then, we've got to the end of another episode. Oh, that's back, I'm back with you. So, I've altered my layout at the moment. I haven't got a working layout, so that's a bit of an upset because I can't come in the garage and play slot cars anymore. But I've been needing to do this for quite a long time really, I think, because I just wasn't really that happy with what I'd done previously. But as I say, I can't race cars at the moment and that's really upsetting, isn't it? So I'm going to cut the video here. I need to sort of stop filming and do more making with wood to get it up and running again. So I'm going to go away and do that for a week, and then when I come back with my next video, hopefully we're going to have cars going and attack in the other direction. Something I meant to mention is I've got to rewire my pits. My pits are designed for a left-hand entrance and they've now got to be a right-hand entrance, so I've got to figure out how to take the sensor off and swap it all over. But I'll see how easy it is, and if the next video comes on and the cars are racing around in a different direction, you'll know I've succeeded. So there you are. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, please give it the old thumbs up. If you didn't like it, well then perhaps go and find somebody else to watch on YouTube. There's lots of stuff out there without watching me. If it's the first time you found me, or if you found me before and you're not subscribed to my channel, then go on, why don't you subscribe now? If you do that, it gives me loads of confidence. It helps me create more exciting content, just like this one was, and I'll put that out for you and you can consume it and enjoy it. So there you are. That is truly the end of the episode. It's a bit of a funny one this week, isn't it? But it was all about how I did my track and altered it. So in the canon of my work, it'll be an important one in the future. So there you go. If I don't see you through next week, I definitely am going to see you around the new circuit. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.